pretty emotional time. It brought back a lot of that emotion. Lakai Tamun is the name of the place. It just means a kid's home. And what a blessing. So one of the things that we did while we were there is put a concrete under those foundations. So this whole place started with this Suzelle just being obedient to the Lord and saying, I need to go home and do something for my community. And she just left. She was going to Brentwood, Calvary, Brentwood, and she just said, okay, I got to go. And she went, and she just started. Her grandmother had a property, and she'd walk 2 or 3 miles to sit underneath an avocado tree and started teaching kids. That was 6 years ago. The stuff you saw on those buildings and the things around that property all happened in the last 6 years. So these are just we're going to start out with some slides. We'll just kind of random talk about some thoughts. Then I'm going to share some personal things that I felt about the thing. Then Josh will. And then I've got a little bit of a message after that as well.
Yeah, see.
Is it the up or side? There we go. This was just a thing that they had built on the top of a mountain. It's a cathedral or something. I can't even remember it's just a place that they
Citadel.
do. It's a citadel. They do tours there now. But it was interesting. It's the only really building out in the middle of nowhere. The things about this, one of the things is these are the roads everywhere. You'll see them in a lot of slides.
That's a good section.
Yeah. There was car-sized potholes in most of the places.
You had to literally almost stop to go into the pothole. It was like this deep.
So when we talk about third world countries and stuff, sometimes we don't really know what that means. There is no physical running water. There is no electricity at all other than generators. So if you don't have a generator, you got zero electricity anywhere. I'm going the wrong way. Obviously, I'm not doing so. Oh, there we go. Just a couple pictures with the kids. So this is a picture, okay? This is right next to the school. This is a typical home right back here. I don't know if you guys, if I'm blocking it, but I don't know where to go. That is a typical home there. Sometimes you'll see nicer homes. Suzelle's house, where we stayed, was a little nicer. They built it for missionaries. It's her home, but it's paid for by the church in Calvary Brentwood has a, what do they call it?
It's 100% funded by Brentwood.
Yeah, they actually have a committee or I can't remember what they called it. A board. They have a board that votes on the stuff, and supplies determines how much should go to what. So they built a home basically for missionaries to stay. But she lives there, and she hosts any missionary that comes there, whether it be us or sometimes people come throughout the year. This was the original kitchen on the property.
Yeah.
They cooked inside this metal thing in Haiti, which is extremely hot, by the way. We were extremely blessed in that we had the best temperature. They said it's never like this. I mean, the high was 90 maybe, and it got down in the 50s at night. So they were freezing. They were like,
yeah.
And none of them had coats on for. None of the kids did. But this is the new kitchen.
We froze to death.
Josh did, for sure.
Because the windows, they slept with the windows open because they don't have.
They don't really
AC.
have windows like we have windows. They have, like, what do they call them? Levers.
Yeah.
Where you can roll it down and it'll come down. That's just on hers. Most people had zero anything.
The fast forward.
Yeah, that's all right. Again, that's part of the dirt roads. That's from her property, just kind of looking out.
Some of these are just views because no matter where you went, the views were just amazing. And like I couldn't even describe it, so I just took pictures. And it was I mean, no matter, I mean, you could be at the little huts the places they lived, and their view in the background was just like, man, people pay for this.
This is actually their newest school building. This was actually poured during COVID when no missionaries came. This was done by the local people. And I don't know if you saw some of the pouring of the concrete in the video. They did that by hand. They scooped rocks and put it in the mixer, and they scooped sand, and they dumped water, and they dumped cement packs, and then they churned it, and then they poured it onto the ground, and they scooped it with shovels and took it places in wheelbarrows. They did that for the second floor of this, handing buckets up a ladder, and they completed this.
That's how they build all the buildings, if you're lucky enough to get a concrete building. Because like one of Suzelle's sisters has a huge house. I mean, it's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath. It was the most ridiculous house I've seen, I've been inside of. But the guy was over there, he was like, man, I don't know how many thousands of buckets they used to pour this. And it was just amazing. And the work they did was just crazy, especially just doing it all by hand.
And they get paid about $5 a day.
Yeah.
Again, these are just some pictures of the countryside from Suzelle's house. Tell them what that is, Josh.
Typical fence. They use these as fences, cactus, and it grows straight up, and they just trim them. That's 90% of everyone's privacy fence is cactus.
They have to do that to avoid people stealing from them or whatever. So you'll see concrete walls for those who can afford them, but most people have cactus walls. And this one's actually extra special because it's got some barbed wire in there as well. Most of them just have the cactus. This was the floor before the concrete was poured. So this pavilion was one of the, like the second year they built, maybe the third year they built the pavilion. So for the last 3 years, it's been like that. Just they have the tables underneath there, and this is where the kids would eat. And there wasn't enough. So 2 years ago, she had 80 students. This past year, she has 180, 190.
Yeah.
So there just wasn't enough tables for the kids. So we built some more picnic tables for them to sit at. There's Josh with the kids.
That's the craziest thing, too, is the kids just flood around you, and they love to get their picture taken and videos taken. They love to see themselves on the screen. It was like if you pull your phone out, you would have 50 kids around you.
And they just love to be around you. This is just spending the time with them. You saw the dancing and stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
We did that a lot. They don't speak English. We don't speak French Creole. The communication we had was
Very minimal.
just that kind of stuff. The grunts I got them to the point where they were like, I'd say hello, and they'd say hello back, and they didn't know what hello meant, but they just say it.
But they found a way to communicate with Pete. Pete's name.
Isn't it?
Pete's name in Creole.
I don't know. They constantly went like this. I don't know. I could never figure out what they meant by that.
I think it means bald man.
But every one of the kids did it, so evidently it had something to do with me. And they thought it was the funniest thing. Just some more pictures. Now, these shirts, the kids all get one shirt. They're different color every single day that they wear.
Yeah. They're furnished 5 shirts, the different color of each day of school. And if they show up without the shirt color, the right color, she sends them home.
And they walk.
Yeah.
Some of these kids, there's a kid that walks 10 miles to come to school.
And there's a kid about
They start at
this tall.
7:30 in the morning.
There's a kid about this tall, they said walks a mile to the river, and then another kid walks with her the rest of the way up to the school, and they're all walking miles.
That kid is 3.
Yeah.
Walks a mile by himself. And then another kid gets with him.
Yeah, she
Could
said
you imagine letting your kid walk a mile by himself when they're 3?
And
When they're 15?
she said their parents do not really get them ready in the morning. They do all this on their own because the parents are getting ready for the market so they can go and sell stuff to make money. So the kids have to get themselves prepared and get to school.
What was that tree, Josh?
That is coconuts.
There's a coconut tree. Look how short it is. All the rest of them are big. Josh likes to say that's me and my friend. I don't know who that guy is, but he's evidently my friend.
There's a big sharp blade on the end of that.
Yeah. Again, that's the road outside of Lekitamoon. Suzelle used to have to walk all the time, so we decided we were going to walk one day. She only lives 1.5 miles from the place now. She used to walk about 3, so it wasn't really anything like she did. On the way back, as we walked, we took some pictures of
Soccer field.
you see makeshift soccer fields everywhere, and the kids most of them don't have any balls, so they play with, they got sour oranges, they'll kick, rocks, whatever they can find.
Coconuts.
Yeah, coconuts. And they're always doing it, so they love soccer. This is a goat.
Chicken and goat.
Chickens and goats,
That's all we saw.
that's all they have in Haiti. Chickens and goats and cows.
Cows, yeah.
Uh,
But nothing
if you can
had meat.
see, that is one of the cactus fences, and this was right after one of them, a property owner went out and trimmed their cactus wall there.
Like, we're used to seeing animals that have some meat on their bones. You could see the ribs of every animal.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Dogs. There was actually a lot of dogs. They all
Yeah.
looked exactly the same, though.
Yeah.
So you can see the cactus fencing, and there's somebody's gate, and we really couldn't get a good answer on what that structure is, but people sit up there and watch people pass by or just hang out. It looks like to me like a parade thing. That's what I was asking. So they hang out up there to watch the parade go by?
I think it's social media.
Again, we're taking pictures as we were walking back.
That's houses.
Yeah, the houses behind there are a typical home. One of the reasons, a lot of the roofs are like that tin, whatever it is. The reason they want to build with rock or concrete is because when hurricanes come through, this is 120 miles from the coast, but they still get hit with those winds, and it'll flatten the other types of houses, and they just have to rebuild them. So whenever they can, they try to build with the concrete. Again, stuff they pour themselves, set themselves. This one's built with rocks that they just dug up and got some mortar stuff and built it. The ingenuity is great. The determination to work, their work ethic is beyond compare.
Yeah. It's nothing like here.
Yeah, that's a home. Evidently, that's me walking.
There. This guy, if you're able to zoom in.
I don't know if I can't zoom in, but there's a guy
Right in the
right
center.
back here.
That's
You
how
see this field? It's all turned
That's how they turn it over by hand.
by hand.
With little.
There's no plows. There's no
Makeshift
ox
hoes.
and tow and stuff. They do it by hand, and we saw it all over the place where people did it by hand. And you can tell it's a different type because it's like mounds of dirt. More of the countryside there. So that's actually our truck that we spent the time in. But this motorcycle here this is their taxis, okay? There's sometimes 2 to 4 people on a motorcycle. You got a guy driving, and he'll load them up on the back, and that's how they get places. Somebody comes by on a taxi, which is a motorcycle. There's a lot of motorcycles, and they go all hours of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a picture. Go ahead, Josh, tell 'em.
Yeah. So look on the right and left side of our fence. That's extra privacy because they didn't build anything higher, so it's glass bottles that have been concreted into it to just keep people from coming in and robbing them.
Broken glass.
Yeah.
Instead of barbed wire, they got broken glass. And that's in a lot of places.
Most places. If
But
you have concrete.
if you notice, she has a concrete wall. In some places, it's the cactus, but on the front, it's the concrete. That's more safety. But this gate, almost everybody has some kind of gate. This one is really secure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kitchen. That's Pastor RJ and Gerline and Maida. We were going to bring them. They came with us, but they're actually from Haiti. Gerline, the girl right here in the front, she's actually Suzelle's sister. And Maida is actually Suzelle's daughter, but they both live in Nashville. But they came on the trip with us, and I tell you, they served us the whole time. They were on the same mission trip.
Yeah.
That's for Cindy.
That came out of my CPAP machine.
So we got on. This is on top of Suzelle's house. If you see these little metal, they're for beams to build another layer. Is basically, and if you got a concrete house, those are sticking out of the top of every one of them. And this is the top of hers again. Just up there. The metal structure you see there is her hot water heater. It is solar, so in the daytime the water's nice and hot, and at nighttime it's not.
So Pete and I took cold showers because it's only a 40-gallon tank, and there was 9 of us that had to take, well, 10. So we all had to take showers. So we took cold ones, but they were okay. I mean, it's much colder here. Yeah, to cool your body down.
This little shack in the back there, that's actually a generator. It's actually what they call a solar inverter, right? So the solar goes down into batteries, and they invert that into AC for the house. So again, they got, there's a lot of generators, but there's a lot of these solar inverters too, with people that have money. Now that's, he talked about her sister's house. Her sisters and her husband worked in the United States for like 35 years and moved back. So they had wads of capital comparatively. Yeah. Like I said, these people work for $5 a day, hard work for $5 a day. They came back after working in the United States for 30 years, and they were able to build a really nice home. But they don't have power except for they have a generator and a solar inverter. Without that, and the solar inverter, if you notice, if there's no sun, you don't really got power. And even in her house, she got the nice solar panels, every night the power went out for periods of time. The one night Josh has a CPAP machine, and it went out at 12 o'clock one night and didn't come back on until 5:30 the next morning. So Josh didn't sleep too well that evening. No.
Well, but it was 2:30, 3:30.
The one night it was just 12, so it was like the whole night he had nothing. Again, this is Pastor RJ doing a morning devotion. This thing in the front, we're not really sure. I mean, that's something they did. They poured that concrete with grass in the middle of it. It's one of the things.
That's the avocado tree on the right, the original.
That's where she started everything. She came and sat underneath that tree and started teaching the kids. This was just some of the supplies. They came in and they dumped the supplies, and then, like I said, they did everything by hand. Good.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
So every morning they do the Pledge of Allegiance to the Haiti flag, and all the kids participate. It's just like what they used to do in schools here. They still do it there.
So a morning starts out, the kids gather at 7:30. They do singing every morning. They are singing praise songs. They're not just songs. They're praise songs.
And they're loud.
And these kids sing. And you heard it. I mean, and a couple of days, we knew what the song was. We didn't understand the words they were singing, but it was the song, so we were able to sing along with them.
The greatest one. So they sing, "How Great Is Our God." Man, I was trying to sing, but it was crying because it's just special. Those kids, it's not like here our kids, they'll kind of mumble or they won't sing as loud. These kids sing to the top of their lungs, and they're proud to do it.
This is some of the property. That's the build. Obviously, that's the building. That building over to the right is the bathroom. They actually have plumbing. It's plumbed to holes, right? So there's a septic tank out back for that. But like the drain in the sink, you saw the picture in the video. These guys,
that's amazing,
dug a hole
8
feet deep, 5 foot by 5 foot. There was nothing to start. Out back of that house, that's where the sinks drain into to get out of there. There's not like you go through piping or nothing. They just drain out of that. We made that table and set those basins in there, and a plumber actually came and put in the faucets. But the drain just drains out into that hole.
And these guys were done, I tell you, it was probably 8 hours worth of digging for them. They were just going. 2 dudes.
And it was square.
Yeah, perfectly square. Perfect. I mean, you would look down there and like, What?
And they did it like sections at a time. I was just like watching them. I was like, I really need to get down there and dig because I really feel bad these guys are digging like that. But and then they lined it with concrete. They do everything with concrete. It was just amazing. They actually did a dedication. You saw the plaque that was.
Building Granda.
Yeah. Some people call him Granada. Granda is actually Pastor RJ. The board decided they wanted to honor him for all the work he's done on that. And the kids did something for him. They sang a song. The kids off to the right there sang a song, and they dedicated the building in the name of Pastor RJ. That's his plaque.
Building Granda.
Building Granda.
Oh.
And that was him with the kids after that. And this is for Cindy.
So
There's
Cindy
a spider again we found.
So check this spider out. The whole time, this was like day 4.
Yeah.
We were
Doing
washing
dishes,
these dishes
on this table.
And when we flipped it over,
Because we made this a sink. We cut holes and put the basins down in it and cut holes in the basin. We made the sink, but when we flipped it over,
it's like this.
He
big
was big.
around.
That's what we did. So the spider was under that table.
Yeah.
So these used to sit on top of this table, and these young girls would carry these buckets full of water out to dump them. Me and Josh were doing it one day, and they're heavy.
Yeah.
These girls would pick them up and walk them out and dump them every day. 3 buckets. 3 or twice a day. But this is this kitchen. We built this shelving. It was in the video as well. Just sitting in store. That's got rice on the bottom, and they make packets of stuff to send home with the kids.
Yeah. It's rice, beans. I can't remember what else was in the bags. But go back one. So that's at Suzelle's house. That area that I got a picture of is where they're going to build an extension
With 4 bedrooms.
to house the missionaries from now on. But they're raising the money to do that now.
Just a couple pictures of them, actually. If you see the wood planking, they're dumping the mixed concrete onto the ground. One guy scooping it, putting it in the wheelbarrow, and the guy's wheeling it down and dumping it. But that's how they did that entire slab, and then the other slab on the other side as well. And that's a lot of concrete, and it took a lot of time. Pastor RJ is also he used to own a business in concrete, so he was supervising. Even though he wasn't part of the crew. They appreciated his help, though. He just wanted it to be done well.
What's the rain?
It rained one day, the day we were pouring concrete, and RJ said, "This is the worst time to pour concrete."
The one time
I'm telling you, it can't rain now.
The one time we didn't need rain.
One day.
And it was only there. Because like when you left the building and you went a mile down the street, it was bone dry. So it only rained on us.
And it poured, as you can see. It wasn't just raining, it was pouring. And there's holes in the roof, so water was getting down onto the concrete. And RJ was getting a little worked up. We stood off to the side and prayed. And we just said, Lord, you got this under control. And about 5 minutes later, it stopped raining.
And that wasn't the last time either that we had to stop and pray. Hopefully we'll see
this guy right here, Benson, that's Pastor Rob, me, and John. He's from Calvary Brentwood, but Benson works on the property. He's a hard worker, good guy. Just some
sour orange trees.
Oh, sour orange trees. They pull these off and they make a drink out of them, which we had, which was actually pretty good. Oops. Go ahead, Josh.
Food.
So the food looked like this often.
Look worse.
The nice part on that is a nice big slice of avocado, and that was phenomenal. Man. That is actually sour orange juice.
Yes.
From the sour orange.
Just the guys there, all of them were so nice. I mean, they just walk up to you. You couldn't understand them, but they just sit there and try to talk to you. And then this guy walked up and wanted a photo.
This is the actual workers back here watching me and RJ do some work. I bet they were just sitting there happy. Yeah, let somebody else do it. This is the house we were talking about.
Yeah.
Look at this. The front porch is just phenomenal. I love the front porch on this. But they live. He's got a solar inverter that's got like 20 batteries, which is unused. I mean, it's huge to power this house. So our bill for this, me and Josh bought stuff, was $5,325. So the conversion rate is for $1 is 150.
Yeah.
That day, it varies.
It does.
But it was 150 that day. So divide that by 150, and that's what our bill actually was. Was that the day we got everything together, or was that just me and you? Yeah, that was when we got. It was like $30. Now, this that was at the gas station, by the way. The one place that had that's the one store that we saw the whole time we were there. Well, other than the Home Depot. Back down in Capation. But in this town, this is the only store. They sell stuff outside, but it's a gas station. And this gentleman over here at the very edge with the white shirt on it, he lived in New Jersey and New York City and drove taxi cab for 20 years. And Suzelle's sitting next to him. He's related to Suzelle somehow. Brother-in-law or something like that?
Yeah, that's her husband's brother.
Husband's brother. Okay. But he worked in for 20 years as a cab driver, 10 years he worked for the state of New York. He came back. He's got a huge property. He's got a 22,000 watt generator, an 18,000 watt generator, and a 15,000 watt generator right back behind this building to run the property, the gas station and the
his house.
And his house. But he doesn't use them all at the same time. And he has one of the solar inverters too. But this was, I've told a couple people about this gas station. That's it, okay? That building in there, and people come and buy stuff from it. I mean, they've got ice cream. That's what we got on the table right there. We got this ice cream, but he sells fruit and he sells drinks. We got some energy drinks there. Me and Josh got a Toros. They were actually pretty decent.
They were really, yeah.
But see how the windows on there? It's got like the louvers. Is that what you call them? Yeah, that's what's basically on all windows. They metal bars and louvers. They don't actually have glass panes or anything like that.
They have all that in Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico.
Is that what they have already?
Yeah.
Well, and that's a little panned out on that gas station.
This is a night on the town.
Yeah. We went and got ice cream. This was Sunday.
That's another thing on the Sunday worship. The kids are not required to come do this. This is just something that Suzelle does every Sunday. She holds a service. And these kids volunteer. They come willingly because they want to come. And these are the kids that walk miles. Their parents don't help them either.
And they don't get fed this day.
Yeah, they're not getting fed. They just come, sing, hear Suzelle teach, or when we were there, Pastor Rob teach, and then they leave. And that's it.
Yeah, that red gate is the gate that protects Lakai Tamun. This is still on Sunday.
So every time I hear PK talking about, we come to church because we feel like it's a chore sometimes. These kids right here are dedicated. They're actually coming for one reason. They want to hear. They want to know about God. And they know the word too. These kids, they can recite scripture. And they read the scripture every time when you tell them what verse you're going to, they read it out loud, and then you teach.
This was the first pavilion thing that they built the first year they started building stuff on the property. And we just poured the concrete. That's another one we poured. So one of the things, I'll get back to that in a minute. One of the things we were talking about, Josh, you can tell.
Okay, so you see the barrels here on the right? There was probably 10. Pastor RJ got home one night, and he realized his wedding ring was missing.
They're full of water to the brim.
To rinse your tools off, and they stunk because they come out of the river, and people use them to wash their tools and everything. So we go back the next day, and we start dipping the waters out of the buckets to try to find his ring. And then Pastor Rob was like, hey, we need to pray about this. So we said a prayer, and then we grabbed the one bucket, and by the time we got to the bottom, his ring was in it. So we dug one bucket out, and then we prayed, and it was in the bottom of the one after we prayed.
Pretty cool. Closing on time, Josh. So if you want to put Josh's on, he can tell his. Oh, I'll do mine first. I forgot I was going to do mine first.
Yeah.
Come on, jump on it. This blank screen, this was really cool. It's just an incredible experience. I'm going to just go through this really quickly. It's just something from my perspective. This is the airport. There's one gate. This band right here was playing for tips as we went into the one gate. Everybody had to pile into that one gate. This is the airport at Cap-Haïtien. They have one runway and one commercial flight comes in there per day and one out per day. So, but this is the arriving gate. There's actually, the departure actually has like two gates. Because there's a bunch of puddle jumper airlines also, you know, that goes from the islands to the islands. This is inside the airport.
This is customs.
Yeah, this is the gate and customs. I just wanted to show some pictures. This is the traffic. There is no laws. So we're in Cap-Haïtien now, where their airport is to drive out of the city. This guy's going sideways in the middle of the road. It's the bravest one wins, really. This is the people walking in. This is the one day we saw cops. This was when we were going home. There was actually police directing traffic. You can see how he's directing traffic pretty good. I don't know what that happened there. Videos. Oh well. Yeah, well. Look how tight these are vehicles driving on the road. He just keeps going. I mean, it was kind of scary. There you go. Motorcycles just going through.
Look how he squeezed through.
Again, this is roads. These are people's houses, shacks. There is some concrete. More people's homes. People just hanging out. These are all the roads here. Can you not see either, Kim? Oh, can you?
Pull up a chair.
Again, more with the. Just took pictures as I drove by. This is the market. Every day, people were out selling whatever they can sell.
This is where the parents are when the kids are at school.
Amazing how clean these people's clothes are. It's just unbelievable. This is just my video as I was driving past. Look at all the motorcycles. There's people hanging out. That's downtown. Again, downtown. This is just regular place. There's the gas station. Oh, there's a picture of me. How about that? These kids loved my hats. They kept putting them on their heads. These guys were amazed. They kept saying it. Man, the kids are just drawn to you. Josh is like, you should see him at home. We tried to get that sideways, but it wouldn't go, so. Just pictures. These kids were just, I started making faces and they'd make faces. Now, I have no idea what these girls were seeing, but it was just. But they would keep trying to talk to you. Ooh. This is where the little girl that you saw in the video, this girl. So, Gerline, this is her goddaughter. And she wanted to bring her, she brought her some clothes, and she bought her this doll. We stopped the one day to give it to her. We nicknamed her Megan. I don't know if you've seen the commercials for that movie that's coming out. Megan's an AI, so we called her Megan the whole time. Josh had to take over as her godparent, the doll that is, because John was originally giving her, and he let her go because he lost his luggage. But it was just a fun storyline. But she was so happy to get that. This is her mother and her brother. This is their home. We stopped at their home. So I took this. The next day, as we're driving past, they stopped us, and she gave Gerline a chicken and a basket of fruit after giving her the stuff. A live chicken. So we had to give that to Benson. Benson is watching the live chicken for Gerline. I just took this picture because this is how they dry their clothes. You might have seen in the video, sometimes they hang them on the trees or on the bushes. These people just laid them out on the dirt. They don't have washing machines, obviously. They wash them in buckets, and then they lay them out to dry. They still have the cleanest clothes. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. That was mine.
I have never seen it as... All right, which one? I've never seen the white clothes, shirts, be so white. I don't even own one that's that white. Oh, that was me. I took it over. That was me in Fort Lauderdale when John lost his luggage. So I babysitted her all the way till we got to Haiti, to the place. This is like Pete was talking about, when you come in the airport when you first get there. It's I've been through a lot of airports. This would be the one that is sketchy. I mean, it's a madhouse, but it's just one runway, one flight per day. This is outside, because when you pull in and you make it through customs, as soon as you walk out, they have a bunch of people out there trying to grab your luggage to take them for you because they want you to tip them. And it's just like they'll just run in and try to grab it and take it from you. And they were even doing it out here in the parking lot whenever Suzelle's husband showed up with the truck. The guys would just come up, grab the stuff, and start putting it in the back of the truck because they want a tip. Oh, that went really fast. We had 9 people in this. It took almost 4 hours to get from the airport to Suzelle's house because of the way the terrain was.
How far was it?
120 miles. It took 4 hours. Well, close to 4. That's me and Suzelle. We were laughing because we were getting jarred around. That's the only thing we could do. It was really, really bumpy. Don. So if you see back in the
That's the Hollywood side in Haiti.
Pete called it the
Don
Hollywood. Because it's back up there just like the
That's
Hollywood
actually the
side.
name of that town that's right there.
Don. That's where we were. To what?
That way.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll just go up. That's the school.
That's the second building.
Yeah. And each one of those classrooms, there's 3. They have a little bathroom on the backside for them, the kids, the preschoolers, to go and use the bathroom so they don't have to walk all the way out to the big bathroom. That's the kids eating. And you see Pete in the background. Pete was always playing with the kids. I mean, it was funny because as soon as they come out for recess, they run straight to find Pete. And every day we wash dishes and we serve the food whenever they would come out. We serve the food to them. So at recess and lunch, we stopped building anything we were doing to help the kids. And so I was trying to find one of the little boys. I don't think I have the picture of him. So there was the cool kids section at recess every day.
The quiet kid section.
Yeah,
That just like to sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
That's the Josh section. Yeah, when you get to my age, you just want to chill at recess. So the one little boy would come every day at recess. He'd put his arms through mine like this and just rub my hand. It was like I just, most of the time I just cried. And then, but there was always, it was like 4 to 6 of them, they didn't want to play. They just wanted to sit there and chill. And that's what they did. They would just sit there beside me and just do nothing. Yeah, that's my people. I'm not a recessor. Just all these kids, man, they just, there's this, me and Pastor RJ washing dishes. No, my wife knows I'm the dishes. That's the kid. I did get the picture. It's the one on the over by John though, right there in that picture. He would always come sit by me and put his arm through mine. He was looked like this tall. That's Pastor Rob. That one kid just staring at him. I had to get a picture of that. We named this one.
That's a good close-up of
We
the
named
spider.
this one Cindy. So this is right after they say the Pledge of Allegiance. And they stay in such perfect lines, too. They all get in a line by class. They say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they go back in line, straight back to the tables, and that's when they eat breakfast. Or no, that's devotional after this. Yeah. There's the flags. The left is the Haiti flag, and the right is Le Catamon. They just got that when we came there. That is Chaka. That's good. That's good. So if you've ever been, I got a picture of every single meal I ate. I did. Because, a lot of it you would look at it and be like, I'm not eating that. So you just have to close your eyes and go.
That's
But
actually
when
the
you
one
don't-
I did not like because it was served cold.
Yeah, that one.
It was a
It's
little rough.
questionable. Because she also had conch and pork. This one was just a conglomeration.
Turkey neck.
Yeah, turkey. Oh yeah, we've been in. Yeah, turkey neck. It was. So it's what I call from where I'm from,
Gumbo.
goulash.
Goulash.
Whatever your mother has left over, she throws in a pot.
That's chaka.
Chaka. Oh.
Tantalizing, isn't it?
Yeah, we had this multiple times. It's cornmeal on the bottom, they ground down, and then on top is black beans that they boil to where it's just a liquid, so it goes a lot further. And then you have a different type of fish each day. This day was herring.
Yep.
And
Mixed in on it, there was fish in that.
I just closed my eyes, and I ate it, and then I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really good.
But we were trying to eat with the kids,
Yeah.
because this is what they get to eat,
Yeah.
and it's like, are we better than that? No.
Right, because that's what they told us up front, was like, hey, every meal they eat, we eat with them, because we got to show them that it's good enough for us too. But they were really good.
Yeah.
I didn't eat a
It didn't
single
look
meal.
good.
Yeah,
It was always good.
we made the running joke, but I actually think I gained 6 pounds from this trip. I did. Coconut, fresh, it's not good.
I'm sorry, that stuff was nasty.
Yeah.
We drank it though.
Yeah, the water in the inside was not good, but the shell on the inside that you can eat.
It's like white. You peel it.
Yeah.
It was good. That part
So
was
I
good.
found out
the
we
liquid was.
We're
not
doing
good.
this all wrong. When you get them at the store, the white inside is usually hard here. You're not supposed to eat it that. It's supposed to be kind of like gel type.
Yeah, it's pretty good. that
Really
way.
good. Fig. This is the greatest thing God invented.
It is actually fig is
Banana.
Creole for banana.
However, if you've ever drank a body armor that says strawberry banana, that's what this tastes like.
Yeah, it didn't taste like a regular banana.
No, it's mainly strawberry taste. And that is a loofah. They have loofah trees, so they can clean their stuff. They grow the loofahs. That's a typical house in Haiti. So we saw this a bunch when you're driving down the road. They had cut down trees, and then they shaved the bark off of it. That's how the long planks are made. They just shave down the bark on the tree, and then they cut it to length what they need. It's just amazing how they do this. But that's what Pete's talking about whenever they say they do it in concrete as much as they can, because imagine hurricane winds on that. It's gone. There's
the hole.
Yeah. It's crazy. Look on the sides. Straight down. There's the dog when we gave it. Oh, and that's how they cooked a lot of their stuff, was on these pits right there. They just set their big buckets on that and build a fire underneath it. They also have a stove over there that's gas, but they cook a lot of it out here. Just they burn the wood, and they cook their meals out here. That's where we saw it. The black beans were boiling. We just saw a
Pot of
pot
black
of
beans.
No, it was just black, like a black liquid, and we was like, "What are they doing with this? Is this diesel?"
And then it was on our lunch.
Because when I first walked by, I was like, "I don't think anybody's eating that. They're doing this for something." I thought they were making something. I don't know. Oh, that's how much gravel, sand that they had to use to make the concrete, and it's amazing to watch them do this. I mean, and they go at it. I mean, all these guys ripped. I'm talking. That's why they would come up to Pete and me and RJ, and they would just walk up to us and raise our shirt up and go. Because these guys are like, I mean, all of them's got like 25 packs, not a 6-pack. These jokers, I mean, it's all muscles to the top. That's them doing it. That's the concrete bags that they brought in. Pete already talked about it. Oh, they did drains on each side all the way around, so that way the water would drain properly. And then in the middle and at the end, we built little concrete bridges. And then all that gravel on the sides and all the way around, that was me, John, and Pete shoveling them into the wheelbarrows and just pouring them over there ourselves. So we did all that to help them out. And the guys were watching us, I don't know, for a couple of hours. And then finally, they jumped in and started helping us spread the gravel. That's part of the drain. That's the gravel we spread. We spread it over there around the avocado tree and the other picnic area. Some more pictures of it. We ran out. Oh, and me and Pastor Rob mounted security cameras. There's one of the bridges we built. I actually learned how to float. I forgot. We built this shelf for them to put their supplies on. That's the ones they hand out to the kids on the weekends from the top 3. The top one is oil. The second one, I think, is black beans, and the other one is rice. They give that to each kid on Friday when they go home because Suzelle found out that when the kids go home on Friday, they didn't eat again until they come back to school Monday. So she started giving them stuff that they could make meals with. And that's also supplied by the school, which Brentwood also contributes on. Is that the end?
Yeah, probably is.
Okay. So the last thing I was going to talk about was when we were talking about how cold it was, 55 degrees in the morning. Like, it doesn't seem like it's cold to us over here. Because, like, I'll wear short sleeve in 55 here. But over there, when it's, like, almost 90, and then at nighttime it drops to 55, in the morning time, you wake up and you're, like, freezing to death. And we came to school that next morning, and all the kids showed up, and, I mean, maybe 6 kids out of 180 had pants, and maybe 6 kids had a jacket. So while we were over there, we thought about how can we help. So we decided we're going to start a clothing drive for them. Sheila and I will take care of it. But if you guys are going to donate to Goodwill or places like that, where you just donate your clothes, we don't want you guys to give new clothes. But if you're going to give away to Goodwill or anything like that, if you guys don't mind, PK has already said that he's going to set up the box out front to just throw the clothes in there, and we'll organize it and get it sent. We have an address in Florida that we can send to, and then the military people will take it over there once a month. So if you guys have, if you want to join in, join in. Brentwood said they would help too. I think that's it.
Hey, anyway, it's time is up, but I want to share this with you. The thing that, You know, we've been talking, Kent brings this up all the time in Philippians. We talk about Philippians 4. While I was down there, I did one of the devotionals with the kids. Basically, the devotional was in the morning, you'd basically give a little Bible study. And I did it the one morning, and so I prayed on it, and Lord led me there. Philippians 4, 6 through 8, which says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." And as I read that and just reread it, I realize often we think this is so hard. We just don't really understand how hard things can be. They face so many difficulties. Jesus said in Matthew 6, "Therefore I tell you, be anxious about nothing about your life, what you will eat, what you will drink, about your body, what you'll put on. Is life not more than food and drink, and body more than clothing?" These people, these kids, they don't have much. They don't know when their next meal is going to be. A lot of them die of malnutrition. Most of us will never have an issue like that. And Jesus continued on and said, "Look at the birds of the air. They don't plant seed or harvest crop, or they store up food in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Don't you know you are much more valuable to him than they are? Your heavenly Father knows your need. He knows their needs. And they're just as important to God as we are. Yet they struggle to be fed. They lack basic medical treatments when they get sick. But what do they ask? The same thing we're asked: trust in the Lord." So what do? They trust. And what happens? A woman is led by the Lord to disobey what she's told and go. And in 6 years, this is what happens. We've got to listen to what God's telling us. We've got to spread the gospel, and we've got to do. We can't just sit around and come to church. We've got to act. And a little action goes a long way. This church is really good. Everybody's not called to be a missionary and go. It's just, God doesn't work that way. We're all blessed to do something. This church is really good at helping out. We send money to different things. And if that's the way God's using you, absolutely, please do that. But we also have to remember that we're also called to minister those around us. We still have a job to do. Donating is not the only thing we can do. We got to go out in our communities. We got to look at the people that we're surrounded by and spread the love of Jesus Christ with them. That's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for listening. Let's say a prayer and we can get out of here. Lord, I just thank you for the opportunity to go visit the people of Haiti, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to see something we don't always see and take for granted things that we have that others don't, Lord. And I know you love every one of us the same. Please use us. Please allow us to open our hearts, our minds to what we're supposed to do, Lord, in this blessed country that we live in. Just let us spend the time sharing your love with others. I just thank you for who you are, what you've done for us, Lord. And let us continue to serve you with everything we have. We just love you and thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.